Hi, welcome to Live Dungeons and Dyslexia. I'm joined tonight by Stoo Goff, the wonderful creator of Aegean, which is, as I've described, and you might say that I shouldn't have done this, I've basically decided as Assassin's Creed Odyssey meets the World of Darkness. So that's my pitch for where this fits and where I want this in my collection. So before I talk about the goodness, which is Aegean, I am pronouncing that correctly, aren't I?
Yeah.
That's good. So, Stu, do you want to sort of introduce yourself?
Yeah. Okay. So, thanks for having me on the show. It's exciting to be here. I've made a whole bunch of games. I was a bit frustrated with the games I was playing at the time, and it kind of led me to kind of think, I'll tweak this and I'll tweak this. And eventually, it was a long journey. It didn't start out how it ended up, but that's what ended up becoming Aegean, and that kind of got me interested in doing more role-playing games. So I kind of branched out as well as writing my own stuff. I've also published a few things by other people as well. So I'm trying to sort of expand my little RPG publishing empire, although it's quite small at the moment.
No, cool. How big is your empire at this moment then?
3 Aegean books with another one on the way.
I was going to say 2 of which with 3 fingers hold it. All 3 of them we will show tonight.
Yeah, so those Wild, which was written by David F. Chapman, and I managed the Kickstarter and getting the printing and everything done. The Gaslight Club, which is a kind of it's a Year Zero engine, so it's like Mutant or Tales from the Loop. It's kind of based on that, but that's a kind of Westworld type thing where you are androids slowly uncovering that the world is not quite what it seems. Show of Hands, written by my girlfriend, which is kind of you're a disembodied hand, but there's a group of you and you're trying to solve a murder in a circus. And
wow.
that was a COVID fever kind of development process, that one. And Action Potential, which is a Forged in the Dark game it's kind of similar to Altered Carbon in that you can swap bodies, and the future is a dystopian nightmare, obviously.
Yeah.
So that's what I've got so far.
No, it's cool. It's building. You are building. Can you see the comments? I'm not sure whether I told you how to set the comments up. So if you see them so if you go to the top right, there's a tab that should say comments.
Yep, I can see them. Yeah,
because Jason Murray's just written this, so I'll just share it as well.
Yeah, right. So RuneQuest is a game I've never played. I know. I've always been kind of aware of it because I've been in the hobby for a long time. Like 40 odd years. Yeah, it's 40 years. I started playing when I was 10, so it's been a journey. But yeah, so RuneQuest was always around, and I never really got into it. And like a year or so ago, I did get the PDFs as a bundle of holding, and I was reading it and going, "This is why haven't I played this before? This is like right up my street. Why haven't I picked this up?" But it was never really. Yeah, never got into it. No groups were running it. No one was playing it that I knew. So, yeah. But
no, I'm with you. I played it in the 90s, so I have got a slight advantage. I bought all of the latest edition. None of my friends are interested in playing it whatsoever. They all play D100 roll under systems and Call of Cthulhu. For some reason, Bronze Age religious themes, which I think looks amazing. They just go, nah. There's so many other things they want to play.
Yeah, but it really does look amazing. And actually, Jason has just said like the cults in Aegean are similar to RuneQuest cults. They are, but I hadn't actually I didn't know that until like a year or so ago, and it was like really was like why because I love Pendragon as well, which is a kind of similar kind of similar heritage, right? It's all Greg Stafford's work. But it just never crossed over. So yeah, it's very, I don't know, I missed out.
I think it does, because it's such an old game that it's one of those now, and I don't know what you're like for buying things, and Cult with the New is always there, because you can play a game that's existed for 40 years, or you can support somebody new on something you've never played before, if that makes sense. And I'm now more into, because I kind of think if I haven't played it for 40 years, well, I have played for 40 years, you know, for a little bit, then I think that's probably why my group won't go back to it. I generally don't know. But yeah, after sort of 35 years of pushing the theme, it's like chilling up at Old Trafford 35 years in a row trying to get into the first team. You know, they're like, it's not going to happen. Not that I don't know. Let's not talk about football. Let's not get into that. I don't know why I picked Man United anyway. So before I get into starting showing the books and, you know, your process for creating these things, do you want to just take me through your first gaming experience, how you got into the hobby? As you said, you've been here for about 40 years. So
yeah, right. So I think my story is probably fairly typical of anyone of a similar age growing up in the UK. I started with fighting fantasy game books. That's where it all began. I could never get through Warlock of Firetop Mountain. Absolutely loved Death Trap Dungeon. You know, Forest of Doom, absolutely great. And that's kind of what got me interested. And I just moved to school. So I'd moved to Norwich when I was about 10, from a poky little village in the middle of Norfolk. And yeah, so there was like a guy who I'm actually still friends with. He saw me reading one of the books and was like, oh yeah, I've got that one, I like that. And we ended up like talking, and like I say, we're still friends 40 years later. And he introduced me to D&D, the basic red box, and that's kind of where it all started. I had a halfling, because you didn't have race and class back then, you just had one or the other. And yeah, so I started off with a halfling called Faunus, and yeah, we had some crazy adventures, and it kind of developed from that. And then it sort of ended up being like some of the Palladium games, like TMNT, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, was always still love the character generation in that. But then that moved on to World of Darkness, and Vampire was a big love. Had a goth phase, never really left it. But yeah, absolutely loved the vampire stuff. And Mage, the Ascension, was like particularly interesting because it changed the way you did magic. You know, there are a couple of things there that I really like dice pools. I've never gotten over dice pools. Love them. Great. Like feeling like a big old bunch of dice in your hand as you shake, compared to like only having one or two and going, oh, I'm going to be rubbish at this. You know, that sort of stuck with me. But Mage, where you could just make up magic. You didn't like, there were no spell lists that you had to learn or anything like that. You just like, well, I can manipulate life, so I'm going to do this. And it's, yeah. And I kind of, in sort of late 20s, I kind of dipped out a bit, late 20s to sort of mid 30s, and I didn't really play very much. And it was like when we moved up to Glasgow, my girlfriend has a lot of friends who are LARPers and role players, so we kind of got back into it through that.
Well, that's cool. You're still LARPing and
I don't really LARP. I don't like dressing up. I'm not a huge fan. My girlfriend does. Actually, she's progressed to running a bunch of LARPs as well.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. So I've never done it. One of my mates got pulled over years ago, and he was a massive LARPer, and he had all his swords in the back. And you just know where this is going. And he was like, he was explaining to the policeman, they're not real swords, because some of them are really realistic. I think it's moved on a lot nowadays, where it seems to be a lot more comical, sort of anime type swords and stuff when I see people doing it, because whether it's, you're not allowed realistic looking weapons, because they've done that with a lot of the airsoft stuff, haven't they? Where a lot of the airsoft's got to be like bright colors and things. So I don't know. Having never LARPed ever, we nearly did it with Vampire the Masquerade. The vampire, can't think what the LARPing one was called. We actually got as far as buying that, and we were like, can we do this? Something in the Mind's Eye, I think it was called.
Yeah,
Vampire the Masquerade.
Theatre of the Mind's Eye.
It was, yeah, something like that. And we were like, nah, let's just sit in where it's warm and comfortable, and we can eat chocolate and Smarties and things like that. So I have got to ask about World of Darkness, because, you know, Aegean does use just slightly jumping ahead to the amazing dice pool that you do. It very much feels like the World of Darkness, stat plus attribute, pull them together, roll, anything 8 or above is a success. You do this amazing thing though, where 10s, you can carry the 10 over, and think we'll get into it when we go. But I was like, this is the World of Darkness. And I remember talking to Dave Chapman,
Mm.
and I was interviewing him about the laundry. And we just got talking about Aegon and Aegean and stuff. And he's going, "Oh, my friend does that." And I was like, "That's weird," because I was only looking at buying these the other day. And then obviously we got in touch, and here we are, having read everything that that we've got that's out, and some more that's coming, which is brilliant. But it is a fantastic system.
Thank you. Yeah. World of Darkness was a big influence. Yeah, like I say, I do like dice pools. They really do. To me, you can feel the difference between I suck at this and I'm actually really good at this, because the number of dice in your hand is suddenly, when you've got a lot, it's quite satisfying having ready to roll. So that was a big influence. It wasn't the only one. There's a little bit of Pendragon in there, which is probably where some of the RuneQuest style of things comes from. And also the Fantasy Flight game Star Wars. I really like that as a system. The dice, people hate them, people love them, because they're all like funky symbols and you're matching different symbols, and it can be it's sort of, it's not quite as intuitive as it could be. It does mean you're counting rather than trying to do maths, which is quite nice. And again, that's what I like about dice pools. You don't have to rolling 5d10 and having to add them all up. That's just no, don't want to be doing that. So I do, a few influences, but dice pools, I do like dice pools. I can go on about them for a while.
Yeah, have you ever gone old school with Star Wars then for the West End Games one? Because if you like dice pools, I would have thought that might have been.
Yeah, the WEG Star Wars was fantastic, but then again, that is, you're doing maths, you're having to add all of these dice up, and that's so I do quite like it as a system, but counting 20 d6 at the table is kind of taking some time there.
Yeah, I think the worst thing about that system is it uses d6.
Yeah,
as a pool mechanic, I much prefer rolling anything other than a d6.
Yeah,
I think it's because probably we've played a lot of d6 dice pool games, because the Crow and the Coyote, if you remember, that uses pools of d12.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. That's d12 very satisfying to roll, because they can go on forever.
Yeah, it's the best dice. It's by far the best dice. And everyone should move to a D12. Apart from you, stick with your D10.
I've got thousands of them from the Kickstarter, so I'm sticking with D10s for a while.
Yeah. No,
I always feel with D6, right? I think it's a kind of elitism for me. I had to buy all these funky dice to play D&D, so I kind of associate the funky dice with role playing. And D6 is for board games. Your D10, your D12, your D8, whatever. That's for role playing.
Yeah, have you ever tried the Dungeon Crawl Classics with all the weird dice that go into that? They just don't look right. I know they roll.
Yeah, they're the same dice but different shapes, aren't they? They're all...
Yeah. Well, there'll be like a D7 and a D13, and so they have these incredibly interesting patterns and shapes to them. But they just, I don't know. They like you say, with a D12, a D20 rolls too far. A D10 kind of rolls almost perfect. A D12 rolls slightly more perfect, where a D6 just lands.
Yeah, it's a thunk.
Yeah. So, Aegean, what was the sort of motivation that made you create? Because this is a genre that is incredibly light on games. Greek mythology.
Weirdly light, I think. Yeah. So where did I? So I'm not actually sure where I got the idea of doing it as Greek myth from. It started off, it was kind of generic fantasy, and it had some of the kind of elements of what became Aegean, in that you had a stat and you had a skill, and you had sort of talents and abilities and stuff. But I was originally trying to do more of the kind of the Genesis dice rolling, where you're rolling like D8s and upgrading them to D12s, and you're rolling your difficulty dice as part of it, and that just takes too long to explain, and it gets kind of confusing. So I kind of ditched that in favor of the D10s. I'm not entirely sure where I switched from generic fantasy to Greek mythology, though. I'm not actually sure what kicked that off. It was definitely, it felt underserved. So it like no one's really doing it. At the time that I was putting together the Kickstarter for Aegean, there were a few other like things, like it was Odyssey of the Dragon Lords, and there was another, but they're both D&D settings influenced by Greek mythology rather than being like straight Greek mythology.
Yeah, Watsy did one, didn't they? They did a Greek, near Greek type thing. Can't remember what that was called. Yeah,
and then Aegon was Aegon second edition came out as well. I have not looked at that game. I think I would really like it, but it was just like when it came out, it was just too close to what I was doing, so I kind of held off from actually. I love to look at the artwork and stuff.
It's one of my best looking games. Like, as a book, the art style is absolutely amazing. But it's just a 2d6 system adding them together in essence. So you can roll of the dice as well, but it's it's not a D10 pool system. But sorry, because I think the thing I really like about it is obviously you've created this fantasy mythic Greek world, but also it's sort of founded in the real world. So you could play it authentic Greek if you wanted to. I don't know why you would, you know, so you can put in Chiron and, you know, the hydras and all that and everything else you want. Or you can just go, actually, cut all the harpies and everything else and just have a proper, especially with some of the expansion books that we're going to look at, because, you know, when you're taking through the Greek-Persian wars and stuff, you've picked specific time periods. So you're obviously quite a Greek nerd.
So I did do classics as an A-level, but my results were absolutely terrible, and I kind of didn't really follow up with it. And I spent more time and learned far more like writing Aegean than I did actually at school. I got kind of obsessed with going into the details and the specifics. I always prefer myth, though. I do like you can kind of be a bit flexible with mythology, whereas people get quite like serious and a bit too serious about history sometimes. But I kind of drove myself insane try and mix that, like trying to create in my head a timeline that was fitted both the mythology and mythological events, which often don't have a real proper timeline to them, and trying to incorporate some of the kind of the actual historical elements in that as well. So things like in the Isle of Pelops, which is coming up, I've got Sparta. So obviously Sparta, very famous, very popular. The Sparta of Greek mythology is very similar to any other Greek state. But everyone wants the Sparta of history, which is a bit more interesting, and also very, very different to the rest of the Greek culture. So I kind of wanted to mix that in, especially with the mythology. So it's mostly mythological characters in there, but with a kind of mention of some of the historical figures around it as well. And I've kind of tried to do that everywhere, and it's been a challenge. It has been a big challenge, but I felt like it's rewarding and it's interesting. I've learned a lot doing it.
Yeah. Did you have you kept the slavery part in for the Spartans?
Yes.
Yeah. Good. There's I'm using good in the historical sense.
Yes.
By the way, there, because I hope people realise what I mean. So Greek was what you settled with, and I'm so glad that you did, because I said that this is what drew me to this. So what I want to do is just go through a bit of the book and then ask some questions. So I'll show the contents first, so people can see just how absolutely packed because you only need the core book. You'd be a fool to just buy the core book, but it's all you need, because if you want to go to Hades, you can't use this. You need another book to go to Hades, and if you want loads of and you want to go around Troy and have other wars, you need another book. But so it's you need to do a box set with all four. That's what you need to do, a collector's box set.
When the next book is out.
Yeah. So it's all hyperlinked if you get up if you pick up the PDF. But it's really well laid out, because it takes you through it gives you an overview first, and then all the mechanics, then character creation, which is very much World of Darkness.
Oh, yes.
Caps, go your concepts. Actually, I'll do that when we show the character creation. Wealth and equipment. You've then got a city, which is a character in the game itself, which I think I've seen in one or two games, not many.
It's becoming more popular, definitely. That sort of thing.
Yeah. Then get into combat, which has one of the weirdest but interesting initiatives I think I've ever seen. So I've played it run it against myself. I need to run this with real people to get the best of it. And I'll just touch on the initiative. So basically, whoever says they're doing something goes first, if I've read this right. And so the player then does something. If the player succeeds what they're doing on their wonderful dice pool of 10s, they then get to pick the person that goes next. And they keep going until they fail. But they can pick from their own party or the opposition. Because the reason why you might want to pick the DM is because we all know going first in a combat and everyone going first can be quite dangerous. Because sometimes nowadays, that holding an action is something we all regularly do, but didn't exist in the olden days. If you went first, you just went first. But more importantly, the person that goes last gets to pick who goes first on the next round. So if all the players go first, the GM's got all these attacks by themselves and they get to go first. And if the GM doesn't fail any rolls, they get to keep the initiative. Is that right?
That's it. Spot on, yeah.
Which I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. I've seen it go opposites, and you can buy things like the 2d20 system for Modiphius, where you can give up momentum to maintain it, but not to tactically pick. I bet that's really fun to play around with.
It's quite nice when I'm generally a bit nicer when I GM it, but like first time early play tests, like letting the players like front load all of their actions and then just having all of the GM actions all at once and then starting the round with another GM character. That was really nice. It's a sort of play test to see them go, oh yeah, we didn't think that through, did we? Yeah. Now we've got to actually manage this a bit better. Yeah. So it was quite nice seeing it the first few times, but now I tend to warn players if they're, well, it depends. Like a convention game, I generally tend to warn players if they're kind of leaving themselves open to being, absolutely beaten in the start of the next round. I think I've seen similar things. So it's not entirely my idea, but it's often referred to as like popcorn initiative, and it's generally you pick who goes next. But I wanted to get the sort of I wanted to get the that chance of failing in there. Yeah. So actually, you think you've got it all planned out, but then you don't succeed at what you're doing. So actually, you don't get to choose who goes next, and that sort of flips over. But yeah, popcorn initiative is the common term for it.
Yeah. We're all glad Jason's here. He's helping us out. Thank you very much. So I don't think that isn't the old Marvel game, is it? The Marvel Supers. I think so. Steel Draw's the new one, isn't it? That's just come out. Is that what was the MD something or other? I think.
I've not one that I've looked into yet.
I haven't looked at it yet either, and I haven't told. No one's actually recommended I have a look at it yet. So I've managed to. It's off my list, but I've got over 200 books to look at that I've been sent. So I'm already up against it. Recovery and healing. You've got this mechanic. I need to find what it's called. Where if your faith is higher than your hubris,
glory and hubris.
Glory, yeah. You can't die.
Yeah,
you're absolutely unkillable. Yeah. There's a bit of downtime. It's not quite as good as that. And it's, I think
you can be badly wounded, but the gods will kind of step in and stop you from, crossing into Hades' realm.
Okay, then we go.
Unless your hubris is too high, and in which case they don't care and you're done.
Yeah. Then we got going to the events, because obviously it's Greek, so you can have wrestling and the Olympics. Good section on gods, and you've got I think it was 10 different Olympian gods that come with their own skills and powers, and you can be a son of a god if you or daughter of a god if you want to be. Yeah. And then you've got a huge amount of NPCs, adversaries, a huge animal section, which surprised me, and then obviously loads of proper Greek mythology creatures, and then loads of maps and areas. So I just want to start. Let's get into the game mechanics then. I think so, and it's basically this. It's just one page of
I mean that's
realist. Yeah. So as I said earlier, character plus skill, World of Darkness. Get D10s from and roll them, and then you're looking for 8s or above. You're not taking anything off for 1, so it's not quite World of Darkness. There's no badness, but this rolling 10s. Oh, I've skipped on. Is brilliant. Do you want to just explain the 4 options when people roll a 10?
Yeah. So, right, you can gain a point of resolve. Resolve is kind of it's a resource you can spend, and you build up and spend it, and you spend it, and it gives you an automatic success on something. So you can, if you've got some resolve, you can kind of know that you're going to succeed, or when you choose to. You can remove risk. Risk is kind of like hit points, but is also a resource you can gain to get successes as well. And you can, like, if you're doing something similar to what another character is doing, you can pass that as a success on. So, like, if you're sneaking somewhere and they fail, you can, like, okay, you spot that they were about to step on that twig or whatever, and you stop them. And invoking the fates is a kind of catch-all. A lot of abilities and things require you to invoke the fates to do it. So you do that by spending a 10. You can also use a resolve to invoke the fates. So you're like some weapon properties, that kind of thing. Some powerful talents require you to actually invoke the fates, spend a 10 or a point of resolve to actually activate them. But saving them for later is quite good. But resolve is a tricky one because it's quite nice to have it because you know that you can then succeed on anything. But if you've got resolve left over at the end of the game, then, well, you've squandered the gods' gifts, and they give you a point of hubris for it. So it doesn't carry over to, like in some games like Fate or something, it doesn't carry over to the next session. It's gone, and you're worse off for not using it.
Yeah, no, I like that, and you know, being able to help out people that in similar roles as well, happening at the same time. So yeah, because with the invoking the fates, you've got, is that the bit with the good and the bad one, where?
And so invoke the fate is more like you're activating special abilities normally, or properties, weapon properties.
Yeah. No, what I'm thinking of is the blessings of the gods, isn't it?
Yeah, the favour and disfavour.
Yeah. Which, that's mean. And I like how mean that is. And this is at some stage during a session. So it's every session, I think, if I'm reading it right, that you will invoke the displeasure of the gods. That's not the wording that Stoo uses. And the games master will go, you have to fail a roll. So that's basically the mechanic is the gods don't like you at a certain point. And any roll that you pass, the GM can basically say that you failed it.
Well, it's not quite. You have to re-roll your success dice.
Sorry, that's it. Re-roll the success dice. Yeah, sorry.
Which is as good as in some cases. Yeah.
And then, if you don't want to do that, you take a point of hubris. But you can also voluntarily choose to do it on a skill that you've passed early on to take it away from the games master from picking a roll for doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Because you want to get it over and done early on something that maybe don't care about so much.
Yeah.
But it's you have to have the favour of a specific god, and then it's just the skills that are there. So, like, Apollo is something like accuracy, perform, and I can't remember the other one. But yeah, so it would only be the skills that are related to that god. Yeah.
Okay. And why I think about this from a dyslexic point of view, and I see people moan about this in books. I love the fact it's single column.
Yeah.
Because I can read the text easily. Because if you'd gone double column, I'd have been really confused. It's nicely spaced out as well. And you've got loads of lines and stuff. So it's nice and clear. And you've got a ton of examples.
Yeah.
Which helps numpties like me when you're kind of reading it again. Because you think you get it when you read it. And then you just need that example to go through.
Yeah. I had thought of, not for this game, but like for something in the future, like flipping the way you write the rules and having a story and examples, and then you have like a sidebar of this is what this actual rule means. But it's something possible for the future. Lots of examples is always a good thing.
Yeah, examples and tables, and then right at the back of the book, you've got it's just a whole pages of tables and examples.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a GM sheet, crib sheet, isn't it? Which is
pretty much. Yeah. In fact, I think everything that's in the last few pages of the book are on the GM screen because that's what it is, really.
Okay, so let's do character creation. Is this? Are we on character creation yet?
So that's skills. No,
no, we're not. We've got to go on here to character creation because there's your example. Because character creation, if you've played World of Darkness, this is going to feel very familiar. But again, you have sort of mix this up, because every character is going to got 10 creation points, I think they're called, something like that. And you get to spend them, and it feels a little bit like Shadowrun in that way that you prioritize sections. So if you spend points in one section, you get less points in a different section, things like that.
Yeah, it is a bit like that. Yeah,
but it's a lot more flexible.
Yeah, because I hadn't really thought of that as an influence, really. But yeah, it's got that kind of similar kind of approach.
Yeah. So you start off with concept, obviously character idea, and then heritage. And that is, do you want to be mortal, which is free, or the son of a god or daughter of a god, which is going to cost you half of your points? So that is obviously going to be a lot more powerful than being a standard human, but you're then going to give up skills, abilities later on. So this is what you were saying about with the fate skills. So, for example, if like Aphrodite would, so the skills that, oh no, that isn't. This is a different section, isn't it?
Yeah, but
yeah, that's later on, because this is you getting extra stats and attributes actually going forward.
But the favoured skills that you pick from are the same that you would get as a disfavour or if you have the favour of the god.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Yeah.
So you get that. You then get your background, which results in your standing and wealth, because wealth is quite static in the game, isn't it? It's quite difficult to gain more money. So what you did all the way through from a priest or farmer all the way down to a criminal, which obviously gives you different standing, different points of relationships. You then get to a certain amount of points to spend on your characteristics. So all the way from 5 to 0. So you can have 0 is going to have 2 in all, and at 5 you can have 1 at 4, 2 at 3, and the rest at 2. And then careers, which I thought was really interesting, that everyone gets 1 career. And then you can spend an extra 3 to get a second career, and then you get the full career amount for everything, which is going to give you, and you're picking things like athletics, citizen, merchant, performer, physician, scholar, scout, soldier, wrestler. And I love the fact wrestlers, this career. What do you do for? I just wrestle. I'm John Cena type thing, but with a Greek accent. Grey line here. Big fan of the World of Darkness and Story Path. It sounds like some fantastic bit. It is. It definitely. Well, you answer it. It's your book.
Like I've said, like D10 dice pools, love them. And I've never really played much of Chronicles of Darkness. I played the earlier stuff, so I played the original World of Darkness. I mean, my copy of Werewolf still has. It's got the 3 asterisks separating a paragraph, and it has in brackets, center these marks, and they're not centered. It's like the first edition was a bit of a mess. But yeah, like loved Vampire, Werewolf was great, loved Mage. Mage was probably my favorite, it really was. And they have been a big influence. And I mean, I hope I've improved. I forgot, advantages and disadvantages. That's straight out of Vampire as well, isn't it?
It is. It is. I was like, this is so familiar. I'm back at college. That was my first reaction when I started creating my character for this. Big win. Rob is dyslexic as well, so he obviously agrees with me in the way it's written. Greyland, we'll get you links for this. So whether you want PDFs or physical copies, because your website's only got PDFs, hasn't it?
I actually don't sell anything on the website at the moment.
That's fine. I'll send you an affiliate link if you want the PDF. If you want physical copies, actually, the company that I buy from here in the UK will sell you a physical copy and the PDF included with it, which I'll get up and share in a minute. I don't know whether I meant to recommend one company. I don't know how that works, but I'm not sponsored. I'll just say other companies are available when I share it. That's probably the sensible thing to do.
So on the single column thing, actually, so my big thing with RPGs, I'm getting kind of tired of the big double column tome. Got a book that's like that size, and it's like that thick, and it's like, oh, this is actually getting painful to read because I can't actually carry the thing. So I really wanted something smaller, which is why it's a 6x9 format.
Yeah,
that's the actual size of the book. It's quite. I mean, it's still quite thick and chunky, but it's quite.
Let me just full screen that a sec.
Yeah,
go on.
So that is So that's the book. There we are, and it's it's quite.
That is pretty thick, isn't it? And there's a thingy
ribbon.
Ribbon. I couldn't think what the word was then.
I like the ribbons. That was like one of the most satisfying things, was having like all the 3 books when they were done with the 3 ribbons just hanging there. It was very, felt like it was a real proper thing. But so I wanted a smaller, conciser book. And like if you're reading on a screen, 2 columns is a nightmare, because you're like back and forth. You scroll down the page and then you have to scroll to the top and down. It's just, it's not a great reading experience. So that was a conscious decision to have like single column book, much easier.
It is. It's so much easier to read and follow. And I'm going to recommend, because this is where I buy everything from, Dungeonland, which is a company up in the UK. They're a company based up in Blackpool, which is currently holding everything. And because they're a bricks and mortar store, go support them. They will also send you the PDF copies for free included in it. So,
I was laughing at Britt's comment of nice, you could beat a player to death with that.
He doesn't have many second-time players. Right, let's get... so, we got to merits and flaws, didn't we? Not merits. Advantages and disadvantages. Yeah,
but they might as well be merits and flaws.
They might as well be. I just used the word. And again, all costing different points, and then fate, and then finally finishing touches. Then this just a little bit more detail about the careers here, which obviously is going to, because each career's got 2 different powers or sort of ongoing experience abilities.
Yeah. And they should all, like one of the things that I was keen on was having, because you can have multiple careers. I wanted the careers to kind of like gel together in some bits. So some careers work better with other careers, and some, it's not always the thing that you'd expect works well. Like wrestler is like weirdly good with physician.
Okay, I suppose it's rounded.
Yeah, just because the physician gets to know about how anatomy works and stuff, and that can kind of tie in with being a muscle-bound wrestler. Because,
I'm looking at this ability here. Pressure points, 15 experience. When making successful unarmed attack with the brawl skill, you may invoke the fates to add your medicine skill to the damage.
Yeah,
everyone's just buying this book now, going, who wants to run this? Because I want to be a physician wrestler, really smart wrestler. Just like we're trying to think of examples now from the WWE, aren't we? I'm not saying they're not dumb, because they're giants. They are massive people. Don't come looking for me. So, but because later on, because you've got obviously the bits at the games and the Olympics, and I noticed somewhere, and I don't know whether it's in backgrounds, advantages, disadvantages, you could have been someone that won something at one of the games. Was that in the advantages and disadvantages?
It is, section?
So is that just starting with a little bit of glory? I can't remember what it was. Yeah, I
think it is just a bit of glory, and I think you can increase your athletic skill because you've obviously experienced it. So you start off with a few more points.
Yeah, you just walk around obnoxiously telling everyone in everything you do. Go, remember me 30 years ago? All the standard weapons, as you'd expect. So including pommel strike, which you don't actually see that often.
Yeah. It was something I kind of really wanted, because like and it just hasn't worked. I've never seen anyone use it. And it kind of annoys me that no one does, but but because what I wanted, there's weapons have reach, which makes a difference in combat. So if you're taking a dagger and you're attacking someone with a spear, you get penalties because it's hard to hit someone with a dagger when you're facing a spear. But you can invoke the fates to flip that. So you can spend a 10, or a point of resolve, and you kind of flip the penalty. So, you don't want to take a dagger to a spear fight, but conversely, you don't want to take a spear to a dagger fight, because actually, if someone's really close, then it's kind of hard to use. And my idea was that the pommel strike, if someone's like broken your reach and they're unarmed and they're close in and you would get a penalty, you can now use your pommel strike instead. But it hasn't really worked out. And no, I'd never seen that in a game.
Because players don't think like that. They just look at stats and the dice they're rolling. And I think I know I'm guilty of it. It's just like in 3.5, You know, do you take a battle axe and do a D12, or do you take a great sword and do 2D6? You know, and I think that determines the type of person you are, because they both get a 12.
Yeah.
You know?
One is more likely to get a 12. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, do you want an overall average better result and know you can't get a 1? Or statistically, do you want the chance of getting a 1 and the equal chance of getting a 12 every time you roll? And I'll take that great axe every single day of the week. The Undertaker. Oh, well, is he smart? Is he? So no, let's not talk about that TV series about the WWE on Netflix, which is scandalous. Get back to Greek clothing.
Yeah, like I say, I got a bit obsessed when I was like doing all the research and everything, because I don't really think that I needed to put quite as much detail on Greek clothing in the RPG. But it's there now, so
it is there. So I think it's town next. Yeah, so building the city. So this again feels like a character. It's got its own characteristics, and you build up the food and things like that. So it like feels very sort of mini gamey without the ball ache of Forbidden Lands, that sort of thing, because you haven't actually got to go and get 500 pieces of wood, 8 pieces of silver, 300 stone, and things like that. It seems a little bit more abstract in the way that it works.
Yeah, so I think part of the inspiration behind this was Pendragon, and I absolutely love Pendragon. But if you get into the kind of managing your holdings in that, it quickly becomes like Spreadsheet, the role playing game. You know, it's very there's a lot of detail, and I kind of wanted to get rid of a lot of the detail, gloss over that, because your characters aren't really, they're not well, they might be involved in some of these things, but they're not necessarily like gathering every last bit of wood that you need or anything like that. And I'd been reading Fate Core at the time, and I really like the idea of the Fate fractals. So that's a kind of what you can represent as a character. You can also represent other things with the same kind of bit, so you can use aspects and skills and what have you. And I kind of wanted to do the same thing. So I wanted the same kind of stats and the same kind of attributes and everything that a character would have, but for the city as well.
Seems to work. It's in a play round. It's quite good, because there are certain gods you can follow as well that then will help the city out depending on which way you go. And do you kind of work the city through together? That's the only bit I couldn't quite work out. Whether is it the games master that does the city, or do the players? Do you sit and do it all together?
It's meant to all be done together. Yeah, it's a group sort of thing. And I normally get a player to actually handle the character sheet for it.
Yeah, that's it. And then obviously there's the bit on the archons, and you can build different, places that then will add to the city, like we've seen here, arbors, stone walls, and stuff. I want to get on to. I think we've pretty much covered the fighting. There's, obviously, let's not. I don't think we need to worry about getting into exactly how the fighting works. If that makes sense, because we've covered the base bit, initiative, and then rolling over d10s. Dual wielding's always a good thing to see in here. Because we don't get any ship-to-ship combat in this, but it comes on in other things, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You might need to buy another book for that.
It's going to be another book, yeah. I was at Tabletop Scotland over the weekend. I had a stall there. And the two things that everyone wants is they want to do the Odyssey and they want to do Jason and the Argonauts. So it's like, I've got to do ship rules. So I think after the Isle of Pelops, I had planned on doing like Northern Greece and Athens and other places. But I think a book of voyages is going to have to be on the cards next. Yeah.
It's got to be. Got to be. And if you don't do it, you've said it here now. So,
it's official now, yeah.
Well, that's the problem with the internet. It never forgets. Whatever you say. So we then go talking through hubris again, which is just the sort of reminder. Obviously, you want to keep this down. And so hubris being pride, technically, isn't it? It's a very sort of prideful thing.
Overreaching pride. You're meant to be proud, but it's
a more negative pride, isn't it? The way sort of arrogance type thing, isn't it? Yeah. And this is the amount of hubris you get for doing certain things as well.
Yeah.
So it's a game to keep you honourable, and if you don't, you'll be punished. And obviously, if your hubris is above your, I've forgotten, glory, and you die, you're going to die.
Yeah.
So
and also, there's a nice table on that right-hand side, which is the cursed table. So if your hubris is higher than your glory, you roll at the end of a session to see if you're cursed.
Love cursed.
Yeah.
I do love cursed. I missed that when I was going through it. So I can't take everything in. So here's your gods, and obviously the skills that they're going to roll against. What was the symbols bit for? Is this an actual mechanic?
It's
The
law.
symbol, just law, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. Because I was trying to find it. I was going, I can't find it. And then this actually surprised me that this, because I was like, oh, there's no magic. Oh, this looks like magic. This looks like the magic section.
Yeah.
Kind of snuck away like a secret that if you can get into one of these horrible, nasty cults, then you can learn magic. They're not all nasty, but
yeah. So it was because, again, these sorts of cults were very popular, and so this is like I'm not going to say it. Eleusinian mysteries is an actual thing. That was an actual thing. It was a mystery cult in Eleusis near Athens, and that description of what you have to do to join the cult is accurate to what we know. You know, you have you make a sacrifice, you walk from Athens to Eleusis, you have some kind of mystical thing which we don't fully know about because it was never written down and you were forbidden from talking about it. But it involved eating and drinking something and then meeting the goddess Demeter. So it's kind of assumed there was some sort of hallucinogen or something in that, but we don't really know. So that's accurate, and that's kind of where the cults came from. And it's probably a similar thing to what sparked the idea in RuneQuest. But yeah, so these are actual things, and I didn't really want to do magic in the game.
Yeah.
I kind of liked the interaction with the gods being like the main thing that you would have as a sort of kind of fantasy element. But I also know that a lot of players like having magic, so this is kind of the route to it.
Do you know, I'm going to equate you now to Greg Stafford because go on.
I mean, that would be an amazing comparison. He was.
Yeah. Did you ever hear the story of fourth edition Pendragon?
Oh yeah. It gained magic, didn't it?
Yeah. Which is why it was his least favorite and my favorite version of it. Because I got the Celtic magic. I thought this is great. It kind of does go against the theme, and I'm really enjoying what they've done with 6th edition. I wasn't sure I was going to get into it, and I've ended up getting everything for it now.
I haven't yet. I did buy the Grey Knight scenario for 6th edition just because I had that as a kid when it first came out.
Yeah.
And the cover on that is amazing. It just looks fantastic. So I love the artwork. So I thought, yeah, I'll treat myself to that. But I haven't actually got the 6th edition book yet. I'm highly likely to get it at some point.
Well, they're reprinting the Great Campaign as well, aren't they?
Yeah, wow.
Which is I've got it on PDF, but I can't afford to buy it original because it's about £200-300 whenever you see a copy going.
Oh, yeah.
So. And I can't bring myself to do print on demand on DriveThruRPG because it's about 500 pages and I'm not sure the book's going to survive.
I got it as a print on demand from DriveThru, and it has survived. It's all right. It's
okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's basic, but it stood the test of time. I've had it a few years now.
Oh, that's good then. That's good to know. That's good to know. I think our DriveThru is really good compared to other people around the world. I hear a lot of horror people go, I wouldn't use it. I've never had an issue.
Yeah, I think the quality is not as good as as a proper print run, but I mean it's pretty close. And yeah, they survive. They do the job. It's basic. It does the job.
Yeah. We've got some downtime things. Get your risk down, gain some income. Choose 2 downtime actions and then replenish your equipment. And downtime actions look quite good. Again, this is. I think we've seen this in other games, but you can go and talk to oracles. You can heal yourself multiple times. I'm guessing. So if you need to heal yourself twice, that's what that means because you get to do 2. We got some random events and stuff in the downtime, and then we're into this games master section, isn't it? Yeah, heroic adventure. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't forget to beat the players around the head. with spears, and then you've got it's the bestiary section, which is it's quite human centric initially, which is good, and then it jumps straight into lots of animals. What was the decision around lots of animals? I'm not saying it's a bad thing, because I like to have, because a lot of games don't tend to give you a lot of animal options.
Well, a lot of the early myths are there's a lot about hunting, so hunting a boar, hunting a stag. So it's sort of it comes up a lot, and they're quite good as the basis for crazier animals. So like there's a section just after this about what is it like having mythic beasts. So
hold on, you got a raptor in here. Missed that on my run through.
Yeah, I couldn't think of another good name for a like falcon or type thing.
Yeah,
but you've got like dire animals, so that's got rules for adding to them. So you can sort of take, say, a boar as a basis and soup it up with some extra stuff, and that's how you've got your I don't know, your boar,
like giant boars and stuff.
And because and they are frequently in a lot of the myths, so it sort of seemed appropriate to have them, and I probably just got carried away.
No, that's absolutely fine. Then we got your monstrous monsters. Oh, we probably should have said you've got 3 different types of adversaries as well. There's legendary, there's champion, and there's a minion, which again, it's just comes down to hit points, really, effectively, doesn't it, on how quickly you can kill them?
Yeah, to some extent, yeah. So things like minions don't take wounds once their risk is out. They're down, and minions are kind of designed to be sort of stacked together. So so rather than having, say, fighting 3 guards, you might fight a minion group of 3 guards, and they all kind of take one action rather than acting independently. It's just a sort of easier bookkeeping for the GM. But legends, they follow the full rules and take wounds and can be tough to take down.
Yeah. And then we are into factions, which is basically areas as well, isn't it? It's like city-states and towns and things like Spartans and Athens and stuff. Because I was like, oh, factions. And I was like, actually, this sounds like I'm criticizing your title, and I don't mean it like that. But I was thinking factions as in, people drawing sides. But technically, I suppose the Greek city-states were factions, weren't they?
Yeah. So that is... it really is mostly city-states, but it's not all of them. So something like the Therapeutae of Asclepios, who are they're healers, they're servants of the healing god. That's not really that's very much a faction and not a city-state. But it's probably one of the few that is really.
Yeah, but I like the fact there's an awful lot of sort of maps and areas and information in here. So just to. Which also teases into your new books that are coming out as well, doesn't it? You want to see what the expansions are going to be? Well, yeah, because the first expansion covers these 3 city-states, and there's 15 city-states in the book. Yeah. So you've bought yourself a lot of additional Kickstarters there, haven't you?
Yeah, and I was conscious that not everyone knows that much about Greece itself. So putting these on a map and making sure there's maps of everything was kind of important, and detailing them a bit,
Well, for someone that spent over 100 hours on Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I know everything about Greece and the thousands of islands. And there really are thousands of islands, aren't there, in Greece? Because I think I've got a friend that lives in Greece, and up until then, and Assassin's Creed, I always had the impression that Greece was like this blob here, and there was maybe 4 or 5 islands, but there aren't. There are bloody thousands of them.
Yeah, I mean, 4 or 5 islands is one small island chain. It's there are thousands.
Yeah, this is as a resource. Even if you don't want to play, you go, oh, I don't like a D10 pool system because there's something wrong with you. I forget I'm live sometimes. Just as a Greek resource, like we said right at the start, there are not enough games that cover this era. And then finally we've got appendices, which is just all the tables put together, which is incredibly helpful. But if that's not enough, and that hasn't teased you enough to make you part with your money, I'm gonna go. Let's go Book of Heroes first, just because that's the one I've got up, and this is when I was actually looking at them, because say when I looked at Dungeonland before you spoke, then you kindly sent me the PDFs, so I actually didn't pull the trigger on buying them, which that sounds really bad now I've verbalized it. But now I've seen that it's got a ribbon, I'm probably going to pick up the physical copies because I want to run this.
Excellent. I mean, that's
and I can't run books off. I can't run games off PDFs anymore.
Yeah, I don't like to either. So that's the 3 ribbons of the 3 books: blue, the gold, the red. I do love that. It feels proper when you've got the ribbons out of the book.
They do, because drive-through RPG print on demand won't have ribbons.
No.
So you know that's not good. But this is the one that really interested me. If I was going to buy only one expansion with it, because it covers Hades.
Yeah.
Well, there's more to it than just Hades, but again, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, one of the expansions, you went down into Hades, because I'm just going to play Assassin's Creed I'm going to make all my players have to do Assassin's Creed-esque stuff in this, because then it's a little bit of a lazier way of running it.
Yeah. I lost hours to that game. I really did. So many late nights. It was great.
Yeah, and then the Atlantis expansion came out. And I was like, really? There's another thing. My wife's like, "Are you coming to bed?" See you in the morning.
Today, maybe not tomorrow.
Not today. I've just discovered this whole new area that didn't exist. This is slightly shorter. I say slightly shorter. It's still 194 pages.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to give it the full like we did with the core rule book, because there's a big chunk of this is adventures, so I don't really want to show adventures. But do you want to talk the essence of this book as I just sort of show through it, bits of it?
Yeah, so it is the underworld. That's where we're going, and it covers a lot of because the Greek underworld is it's not one place. There's so many different versions. So it covers Elysium and I can't remember half of them. So it covers all of the underworld, how you would get there as well, because obviously it's not dying is one option, but you probably want to come back as well. And there's a few extra things in there. So for to hook in the players. So there's a new mystery cult if your character has died and come back because the gods saved them. Then there's a mystery cult that you can join which are the walkers of the dead. There's what else have we got? Other player options include actually building a temple to the underworld as well, and having a more direct connection with it. Got all of the gods. So that was Thanatos and Gunpowder. So a lot of gods, because it's not just Hades and Persephone. There's a lot more to it than that, and because it would be you've got to have more monsters. There's a lot of other things that you can fight down there. So there's a lot more creatures to fight, that kind of thing. So it's quite a broad expansion in that it's not just. It's a bit of a setting guide, so it is a description of all of the places of the underworld, the people that you'll find, the gods and the other people that you'd find there. But it's also new player options, new character options, that kind of thing. And that's kind of how I kind of like to do my supplements. I want them to be a little bit of everything for the players, as well as stuff for the GM. And then it's got one adventure which is directly involving the underworld, which involves the god of sleep has something's happened to the god of sleep and it's affecting the mortal world, and you need to deal with it. And then there's a whole bunch of campaign stuff at the back with various fights for various epic kind of level quests, getting things for various gods.
And if that wasn't enough, we've then got which is the next one. Can't remember what it's called. Book of Empires. That's it. This is the one with Troy in it, isn't it? This is and
so
the
Greek. The island of Crete, and a bit about Troy and the Trojan War. And again, there's new player options as well. So on Crete, bull dancing was quite a popular thing. So bull leaping, jumping over bulls. So there's a new career for that. And then, because of course, you want to, something you want to learn to do once you've had enough of the Olympics and wrestling and all the rest. You want to jump over bulls. And to expand on that, there's getting around. I kind of envisage like Knossos being not just a place where there is a maze and the Minotaur is trapped under it, but being a maze itself. So it's this big city that you can easily get lost in, and then it's details about the various people on there, including the Minotaur itself and Minos and Pasiphae. Troy is starts with a city guide as well, so it's information about, there's the bull dancer, bull leapers.
That's a great piece of art.
Yeah, Gareth Slightholme, he did all of the interior art. He's does some fantastic stuff. And then adventure in Knossos as well.
Troy. There we go.
Yeah, Troy, city guide to Troy. So it's getting around. It's the important people, important places of the city, and the sort of the surrounding area, and also some extra gods that are like specific to the region. So there's more, more player stuff, more. And Troy. This is Troy's relationship with other factions. What else have we got in there? And then, of course,
these are good as well, though. Sorry to interrupt. You've got loads of like plot hooks, which is very sort of Warhammer 4th edition, with like their little hook bits where it's just like, here's a description of what's going on. Isn't it like 4 or 5 line adventure, which is always handy for a games master.
I like writing those because like you don't have to do the work of writing an adventure, but you can just go, right, what would be great here? Oh yeah, I'll just put one of those and one of that. It's nice and easy to do, but hopefully it sparks some kind of, it's some inspiration in the reader, in the GM. So there's quite there's quite a few of those in there. And Troy, the surrounding area. But then you've got the Trojan War. This was quite it was I didn't write this one, but it was quite a difficult campaign to sort of include, because obviously you want to be true to what was there, but you also kind of want to do something a bit more interesting, a bit different. And you can kind of assume that the players will end up on the Greek side during the battle, but maybe they won't. Maybe they'll change sides, or maybe they'll just like straight up, they've already got an existing good relationship with Troy and they want to continue that rather than fighting with the Greeks. So a lot of the adventures were quite tough to do because you kind of like trying to make them work for either side. So you could be with the Greeks trying to steal this, or you could be with the Trojans trying to sort of defend it. Was quite tough, but I think it sort of managed.
I think it comes down to whether you've read the Iliad or you watch the Troy movie.
Yes.
Might determine which side you might be on.
Yeah,
because I don't know. They did confuse things in the movie, didn't they?
A bit, yeah.
Let's make the Siege of Troy a couple of weeks, not 10 years, as in the book. Then no. Is the campaign set over a 10-year period, or have you sort of condensed it down for cinematic reasons?
It's condensed down. It's not quite 10 years. I mean, it's a bit nebulous on how long it all takes. It doesn't really specify, but there's not enough adventure for 10 years in there. But I mean, then maybe a 10-year siege is actually probably quite boring to be sitting around in.
I could imagine. It was quite a boring read. It's a tough one, because there's a new movie coming out, isn't there? And I'm dreading it because Spider-Man's in it. I seem to remember.
Yeah, Tom Holland is in there.
Yeah, I'm like, I hope he's not Odysseus, because I just can't see that. But
I think he's Telemachus. I think he's Odysseus' son, I think. But yeah, like, I don't know. It's Thingamy Nolan, and I've quite liked a lot of his movies.
I haven't seen a bad Kevin Nolan movie, so that's the only thing that is giving me. Is it Kevin Nolan? That doesn't sound right. Kevin Nolan's the footballer. Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan, yeah.
Kevin Nolan used to play for Bolton. He was always in my fantasy football team years ago. I haven't had a team for years, as you can imagine, because Kevin Nolan was in it. But yeah, Christopher Nolan's done some really good films. So hopefully, people would argue the Batmans aren't good, but I really liked all 3 of those Batman movies.
Yeah, no, they're fantastic. Yeah, I've only watched the one, so maybe quite enjoyed Tenet, but I don't know if I would, watching it again, if it would, I don't know, annoy me somewhat. But yeah, no, he's got a movie coming out. It's Odysseus.
Yeah, I haven't watched Tenant, so
Mm.
he's still good in my book by the sounds of things. Yeah, I don't know. I've watched the film for about 5 years. I don't watch movies anymore. I spend most of my life either recording YouTube, working, or watching YouTube. That's
Right.
it.
Okay, yeah.
I don't. My wife tried. We tried to watch a film a few weeks ago, and I haven't got the concentration for it now.
It's weird, isn't it? Because I would rather watch something on TV show, than a movie, because I think I can't spend 2 hours watching a movie, and then I'll watch like 3 episodes or something, and it's like, oh, it's 3 hours gone. But because it's a TV show, it feels a bit more like I could stop at any time and I'm not stuck there. Whereas a movie, you kind of feel like, well, I'm going to be sitting there for 2 hours.
Yeah. I want, and a lot of them though, you get to the end and go, not getting those 2 hours back. So your final book that you sent me then is Aegean, Isle of Pelops.
Yep.
Which is still currently mostly in draft.
Yes, it's
I know
almost there. It's
almost there. So where are you in light of crowdfunding that, or has it already been done?
Yes, it was crowdfunded last November, and I had hoped to have it out. Well, I'd hoped to have it finished around March, but the unexpected stuff happens. I'm now, everything's written. The last adventure and the introduction to the sort of the campaign are being edited at the moment. So I'm hoping next couple of weeks to have the PDF finished and out. So it's getting close. I'm looking forward to it to being done and out to people. Yeah, soon.
That's good. That's good. So just me thinking from a sensible point, because I've got the reviews to do of these. I was going to review the core book separately to the 2 next books, and I think I'll still do it that way. I think that's so I don't like putting multiple books in, but obviously the problem with the 2 other books is because they have so much adventure. It's hard to kind of share them without spoilers, because I know players watch my videos when I tell them not to, and they still do, which is sneaky, I must say. And my players watch my videos, which is nice, because obviously it adds to the watch counts, but it's hard to run stuff. So but yeah, my plan is to get, I'm hoping it should be out this Saturday, or last Saturday, depending on when you're watching this. because that's so what is the future for Aegean then? So Isle of Pelops. Isle of Pelops. That's my first mistake.
Yeah, no, you're not the only one who's called it plops. Yeah. So that's coming out soon. That's almost done, and that covers. So it covers the Peloponnese, so the southern part of Greece, which includes like Mycenae, Sparta, Olympia. And it's that same kind of focus. There's interesting stuff about a location, the people who are around there, plot hooks relating to them, some player stuff. So you can now have Sparta as your character background, that kind of thing, and then there's a campaign for the GM, which takes you around all of these places that are in the book. So actually, I don't think it takes you to Sparta. I think that's probably the only one, but it takes you to Olympia, and it takes you to various places in the region. That's all without spoilers. There is a big conspiracy. Let's leave it at that. And something has come back, and we'll leave it at that. But that's like 4 parts. So that's almost done. Should be PDF in a couple of weeks, print probably November, but that will be focused on getting it out to backers who've had to wait a year when I said it would be 6 months. After that, I had planned, and I have already got some writing done on a similar book for sort of northern and central Greece. So the plan is to cover Athens, Thebes, Corinth, the sanctuary of Apollo at Delphi, that kind of thing. So similar vein to Isle of Pelops. But that's lots of people keep going on about. They want voyages, they want sea travel, and all of that good stuff. So that might take focus. So Book of Voyages maybe after Pelops. and that is I've got some ideas around that. I've got some ideas around having like your crew as followers and using your ship instead of in place of the city as a kind of as a focal point.
Yeah.
After that, I don't know. I want to keep doing adventures. I want to keep doing stuff for it. I don't want it to kind of languish. I think a game stays popular by having lots and lots of supplements, or at least supplements on a regular sort of basis. If I'd stopped at the core book, I mean, it would have been enough. It would have been, enough to get you playing, but I don't think it would have been enough to get people talking about it. So, so I do want to keep the supplements coming. I did do, and I haven't got one handy, a newspaper adventure. So it's like 8 pages in a newspaper format. Got a newspaper printer to actually run it up. It's called Terror at Aspis, and it's an adventure, one island. It's got all of the player-facing stuff on the front, and then GM stuff on the inside, and maps and stuff on the pull-out sheet. I was thinking of doing another thing similar to that, so to sort of do more sort of smaller, not quite one-page adventures, but like shorter adventures for people. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. Aside from Aegean, I'm also working on. Currently, it's called Wolf's Head. It's the idea is that's the one. Yeah, lovely crab monster. So Wolf's Head is going to be the same system, because I may have mentioned that I like D10 dice pools.
Yeah, who doesn't?
But it's I was thinking Robin Hood, but I was rewatching Robin of Sherwood. And that's
the first series is so good. Why did Jason Pride leave?
Yeah, no, the other way around. He was Michael Prade.
Michael Prade, sorry, yeah.
Jason
Connery, yeah. I'm really good at acting because my dad's really good. Okay, come on in then.
So anyway, so that's the sort of the next game that I want to work on. And again, it will be the same system as Aegean, basically the same system. There'll be tweaks for the setting, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. And that's a good point, actually. Yeah, so Voyage and Athens could work together. I mean, it could be, so Voyages could be like back half of the book instead of adventures.
Yeah, it does. I don't know. I'm not a writer or author. It does feel like to get 200 odd pages out of sort of ship combat and ship interactions, it would feel. Well, I suppose, but the thing is, though, you'd just pull on a load of the tiny little islands and have loads of adventures, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So there's only 6 ships. There wasn't that huge amount, was there, in the Greek size?
What are they? Pentaconters up to like biremes and triremes and things. I've only done minimal amount of research for the core book for that, so I think there's only pentaconters, biremes, and triremes in the core book. There's probably way more, and I would end up getting obsessed and reading up on loads.
What are you doing? Your wife will be like, "What are you doing tonight?" You're reading about ships again. These are smaller Greek ships. Where are we going on holiday? Greece. Have you been there and done the ancient?
Been to Athens. Not seen much of Greece, but actually not been to any of the islands. But a few years ago we went to Athens. It was great walking around. Absolutely phenomenal. And we had a day trip. Where did we go? We went to Corinth and over the isthmus. Absolutely lovely. Just being able to walk around there and like seeing the Acropolis at Athens was amazing. And we had this absolutely fantastic tour guide. He was very young lad, very excited, very enthusiastic about the history of the place. So it was great. And he did like a little quiz, and I got one that I really knew that I was wrong in the quiz, and I was sort of humming and hawing which way to go. And I second highest of anyone he's ever had there. So I was like, if I just not I trusted my gut with that other question, I would have been all right.
Yeah, and your girlfriend never brings it up, I'm sure.
Not at all. But yeah, that was an amazing trip. It was great.
Yeah. We late pledging for your current Kickstarter? Can anyone still jump into that, or
not yet? I haven't set up backer kit yet. That will be imminent, and it will allow late pledges.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So let me know when that's up, because what I'll do is I'll share it on my social, so we can get more people on.
Cool.
To cover it. So going back to Robin Hood. So sorry, go back to the wolf.
Wolf's
wolf
Head,
book.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like it's another one that I say I don't think it's been served well enough. I don't see many games coming out, but then Osprey have just announced something. They've got something coming out in November, so maybe I may kind of miss the tide on this one. But I really kind of wanted to do English resistance against the Normans. That's what I really want to focus on. I want that kind of bit of class war, bit of our lords are stealing from us kind of thing. And I was reading about Hereward the Wake, who was kind of big in East Anglia, where I'm from. So yeah, he was a big pirate and raider, and fought against. Cool. I will. It's coming. It's imminent. But yeah, so I kind of wanted to do this sort of Anglo-Saxon, early English kind of fighting against the Normans, fighting against the oppressor, and like Robin of Sherwood, absolutely lovely. Like I loved that. I've been watching some of the movies. I even quite like the Prince of Thieves. If you can get past what's his face's accent, then it's
because I think we're about the same age.
We are, yeah. I'm 50, so
yeah. So the same age. So we would have been the same age when we weren't. I didn't even notice he had an American accent when I first watched it.
Nah, not as a kid.
Because it's good. So now it doesn't bother me at all. And I'm glad when you watch like Russell Crowe and the one with the guy out of the Gentleman film.
Oh right, okay, yeah.
Just don't put on any format. Just say what you can say, because we've had years of Brad Pitt put on Irish accents, and do you know what I mean? If you want someone with an accent, hire a person that speaks like that. If you don't, get them to speak. Sean Connery made a living out of speaking like Sean Connery. Nobody cared. Michael Caine, exactly the same. Sean Connery played a fucking Spanish man in Highlander, and they got a French man in to be a Scottish man who couldn't actually speak a word of English when they started filming. And it's one of the best movies ever made.
Yeah, that description, it sounds like, how the hell does that work? But no, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it shouldn't work at all. And we got Henry Cavill doing the remake, which I hate the thought of, but I love Cavill. So
yeah, he is great. I love it because he's a massive nerd as well. So
yes,
I'm a bit worried about the film. Don't feel it needs to be remade, really.
No, but I'm hopeful. But I even like the Highlander TV series, so there's obviously something wrong with me. But yeah, Costner's Robin Hood's good movie. Yeah. Alan Rickman's amazing.
Brilliant, isn't he? I mean, he steals the show somewhat, but yeah, I mean, he's absolutely great in it.
I've just now probably sold a copy of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I think you can buy it from Game for about £2.50. It's incredible. But it's the better one. I loved Valhalla, and then I actually fell in love with Odyssey, which is what dragged me into this.
Yeah, and
I used dragged in an incredibly loving manner, because it's an amazing book.
Thank you.
Which is why I wanted to get as soon as I started looking at this, D10 system, and then say that character creation. It's so, and you're wrong. Werewolf was better than Mage.
Werewolf was a lot of fun. I did like that.
We never got into Mage, and it was, I think it was probably the best selling one. It definitely had a bigger audience when we went to conventions and things. I know obviously Vampire is very popular, but Werewolf was always my one. And I keep kind of decide whether I'm going to get the new 5th edition of Werewolf, and I don't know if I can bring myself to it, because I've still got a load of my old stuff. Well, I say my old stuff. This is rebought old stuff.
Oh right, yeah.
Because ex-wives and stuff, which was a terrible stuff.
Yeah, eBay is a blessing these days. It
is. But that it is harsh because each White Wolf supplement's about 15, 20 quid. So, but I've got every one now of the Vampire Dark Ages, which is my favourite of those settings, which I'd imagine you'd probably quite like the Dark Ages.
I did like Dark Ages. Yeah, that was good.
No, brilliant. Well, thank you for coming on. So you're going to make Wolf's Head. I would just go with it because Osprey tend to do more. They do a lot of miniatures games and stuff, don't they?
They do mostly. Yeah, they've branched out into RPGs and they've got a few things.
That's a brave comment.
Oh yeah, actually, that was weird. That was completely under my radar, and I had not seen it.
That was Uma Thurman, wasn't it? As Maid Marian.
Yeah,
I think I've only ever watched it once.
I watched it fairly within 6 months ago because like I say, I hadn't heard of it. I think because that's a similar year to.
It's the same year. They came out at the same time. Yeah, it's basically like Armageddon and whatever the one was.
The other one with it.
Yeah, the other one. Yeah, I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was both 91. It was 91 because 91 was the year we had to endure that Canadian singer for 28 years at #1 in the charts.
Yeah.
So what was his name? 1 month before Costner. That was it. Wow. Yeah. What was the singer? Why can't I think of his name?
Everything I do it for you.
Yeah. Summer of '69, man. So, which isn't about
Brian Adams.
Yeah. So, Stu, I would just do it. I would just do it. I think you are single-handedly going to bring back the D10 pool system, which Big Wind has been playing his werewolf campaign. I think he said it was something like 15, 20 years. They've just concluded it.
Right. Wow. That's amazing. That's some hard work.
Yeah. Okay. So Osprey do Jackals, which is Bronze Age. Also cool.
Yeah. And I'm aware of it. I've not read it. I was tempted to get. They've got a couple of adventure supplements for it. I was tempted to get those as something that I could run in Aegean, but I've not played Jackals.
Yeah. People keep doing this. They go, have you thought about this? And I go, no. I'll look at it and go, do I need this in my collection? No. Am I buying it anyway? Yes, I am. The Canadian government's already apologised for Brian Adams. No, my wife went to see him once and she said he was brilliant.
Oh, well.
So, yeah, you can't have everything, can you? Stu, thank you for your time. It's actually been amazing to read, to sit down with you and meet you and talk about these wonderful books. For everyone else, I will share the links in the video description of where to pick them up. Say when late pledges come in, then let me know, Stu, and we can get everyone on top of those as well. We look forward to Wolf's Head. The title alone is going to make people buy it, and just do it in that time period, but still sneak in Robin Hood.
Yeah.
As a player, don't give him stats though, because if he's got stats, people can kill him.
Yep, always a risk.
It is. For everyone for your comments, thank you for joining in. We're back live tomorrow night, playing Shadow Dark. Righteous Vow Volume 3, run by the creator. That's the other thing, Stu. We haven't got you down to run this as a one-shot live on my channel.
Oh,
are you aware this is a thing I'm now doing?
I wasn't, no, but yeah, I can do that.
Oh, you're not on Discord, are you? That's why. No. We've only been communicating the old way via letters, no, email. So, but on my Discord, so I've now got a section where creators come on of their own books. They run one-shots live on my live channel.
Right.
So
okay.
we generate all the players on there and stuff. I'm fully booked up for the whole of this year. So, and I'm taking them into next year. I've got 3 dates already next year taken.
Wow,
so it's Friday night from 8 o'clock till about 10:30. I only want sort of 2-hour sort of maximum one shots. You generate the unless players want to do it, but if you do like pre-gens, but so it's a way for you to then, it means I get to play lots of games. But yeah, we'll find the players and then we'll just run it over a VTT. So if you're interested, drop me an email. If you're not on Discord, drop me an email, and I'll give you the dates in 26. But that'll obviously probably actually fit in with stuff actually, and your next book's landing and stuff. So
cool. Yeah, I'll join the Discord. I don't use Discord very much. I find I tend to miss a lot of things, or it's very distracting, so I don't use it very much. But I do have an account, and I do like dip in occasionally. So yeah, I'll join the Discord server.
Oh no, cool, perfect. Yeah, it's in the video description. But yeah, it's just full of artists and designers and people and players and stuff. But
Cool.
it's because it's full of loads of old men. It's actually surprisingly peaceful compared to other Discords that I'm in. That how like just people are enraged all the time. So
Gets tiring, but yeah, I know it's important, but it gets tiring.
It does. But thank you very much. I will be showing off my physical copy. Said my review for this should come out in the next couple of days.
Cool.
So it's due to be recorded tomorrow, and then I'll get it all edited down. So it's been ready. I wanted to just answer a couple of questions beforehand. I think I used to do the reviews and then have the interviews, and I think actually it's better to do it like the other way around, because sometimes I miss things. Like when you're saying about relating it to the skills, I completely missed that in the book. So,
yeah, important detail. Yeah. Otherwise, you'd be screwed. Your players would be like, just wouldn't have a chance.
Any random skill roll that you can make them fail. But yeah, keep creating great stuff. Keep using D10s. That's what I say. So thank you, Stu. And say 2026, we'll have you on the channel running live. So if you want to be involved, join my Discord.
Cool.
So yeah, thank you for watching, everyone. I'll see you back live tomorrow. So I'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, cheers, Stu. Thanks for being here. Bye. I only called you